There are moments in life when God hides your blessing so deeply that even you begin to think it has disappeared. But what if the delay was never denial? What if it was divine strategy? God sometimes conceals His provision in mystery so that you may learn to walk by faith and not by sight. The unseen funds you are waiting for are already accounted for in the heavenly plan. They are not lost. They are not forgotten. They are only waiting for the moment your faith matures to the point of readiness. God is not simply preparing the blessing for you. He is preparing you for the blessing, because what God is about to release will demand the wisdom, discipline, and the spiritual maturity to manage. You must understand, when God funds something, He funds it according to its purpose, not according to your comfort. God's provision always matches His mission. When your purpose expands, the provision follows. When your assignment increases, the anointing increases. When your faith grows, the flow grows. Some of you have been praying for more, but God was waiting for you to grow into the kind of vessel that could hold it. He cannot pour abundance into a heart still broken by doubt. He cannot deposit greatness into a soul that feels responsibility. That is why this waiting season has been a training ground. God has been stretching your faith, shaping your patience, enlarging your spiritual capacity, because the unseen funds He is about to release are not temporary, they are generational. There is a law of divine economy. God never releases what you cannot sustain. If you pray for great outpouring but remain unwilling to grow your foundation, the blessing could crush you. So in His mercy, He prepares you privately before He blesses you publicly. The hidden season you are in has not been punishment, it has been preparation. God was teaching you how to live in trust, not in panic. He was teaching you how to depend on His voice, not on visible evidence. Because when the unseen funds arrive, they must find a heart that is stable, not shaken by sudden change. And now, that season of preparation is nearing its end. The shift has begun. Heaven has recorded your endurance, your faithfulness, and your trust. God has watched you remain faithful even when no one applauded you, even when nothing made sense, even when everything in you wanted to give up. That faith has spoken louder than your words. And because of that, the spiritual account over your life is being opened. The unseen funds are being transferred, not only in the form of wealth, but in the form of influence, revelation, and spiritual authority. You are about to see yourself operating on a level that you once thought belonged only to others. There will be moments soon when you will not understand how things are moving so fast in your favor. You will see doors opening without knocking, help coming without asking, and provision appearing without calculation. This is the divine acceleration that happens when God decides to fulfill His promise. It is not because of your power, nor your plans, nor your perfection. It is because of His faithfulness. The unseen funds were always yours, but God waited for the perfect divine timing to release them. When the right season arrives, favor flows naturally. You don't need to chase it, it finds you. The unseen funds are not limited by the world's economy. God's economy is not shaken by inflation, crisis, or scarcity. While others cry of lack, those who trust in God operate in overflow. Why? Because they draw from a source that never dries up. The wells of heaven do not run out. The vaults of God are not measured by currency. His wealth is beyond calculation, and His generosity is beyond comprehension. You must renew your mind to see that wealth is not the goal. Alignment with God's plan is. The unseen funds are merely the result of divine alignment. When you stand where God told you to stand, provision will always find you. Many people chase provision without chasing purpose. But God funds only what He authors. If He didn't start it, He won't support it. If He didn't instruct it, He won't invest in it. That's why some doors stayed closed. They weren't aligned with your divine assignment. The unseen funds will not go where God's presence is absent. They follow His will. When you walk in obedience, heaven itself becomes your bank. You will never have to beg for what is already destined for you. You only have to stay where God's favor flows. There will come a time soon when your story will become a testimony of divine reversal. Those who once pitied you will be astonished by what God does through you. The unseen funds are not simply a financial miracle. They are evidence that God never forgets His own. When He chooses to bless you, it will not be small. It will be public enough that even your enemies will have to admit it was God. They will not be able to explain it, but they will not be able to deny it. Because when God funds a person's destiny, the results are undeniable. Listen carefully. God is not just transferring wealth, He is transferring authority. The unseen funds are a sign that you have been entrusted with a greater responsibility in the divine plan. Wealth without wisdom is a curse, but wealth with the divine direction becomes a weapon for impact. God is empowering you to influence, to uplift, to create, to bless. He is positioning you as a conduit through which His abundance flows. And because you have been faithful with little, He is about to trust you with much. The unseen funds are God's confirmation that you are ready to carry greater weight in the kingdom of purpose. You must learn to think beyond the survival. You were never created to live in scarcity. You were designed to operate in divine sufficiency. God's provision is not about having more. It's about being fully equipped to do what He called you to do. The unseen funds will not only pay bills, they will build dreams. They will open new possibilities. They will heal families, support missions, empower visions, and break generational patterns of lack. God's abundance is always connected to His agenda. When you begin to think like a vessel of divine wealth rather than a seeker of personal comfort, the flow will never stop. God is about to give you access to resources that were hidden for a reason. Some of these opportunities were reserved for this moment in history. You are not late. You are right on schedule. There are people and places already prepared to partner with what God has placed in you. There are funds and favors that were kept untouched, waiting for your name to be spoken. God is the ultimate strategist. He knows how to connect you to the right people at the right time. The unseen funds will come through channels you never expected. Some of you will wake up one day and realize that what you thought was a setback was actually a setup for this divine connection. It's time to lift your expectation. God responds to the level of your belief. If you think small, you receive small. If you believe big, you receive big. The unseen funds are not released to those who doubt. They are drawn to those who believe without seeing. Do not wait until your account changes to praise God. Praise Him while it's still empty. Because that praise becomes the key that unlocks what your eyes cannot see. Faith speaks before manifestation. Gratitude attracts release. The atmosphere of thanksgiving is the environment where unseen funds become visible blessings. Do not let fear whisper lies into your faith. Fear will tell you it's too late. Faith declares God is right on time. Fear says it's too much to ask. Faith says nothing is too hard for God. Fear focuses on lack. Faith focuses on source. If you let fear rule your decisions, you will never step into what God prepared. But when you let faith take command, every barrier begins to crumble. The unseen funds are not limited by fear. They are released through faith. Speak boldly, declare confidently, walk with assurance. The heavens respond to conviction, not hesitation. And remember, when the unseen funds arrive, humility must remain your posture. Do not allow abundance to silence your dependence. The same God who provided is the one who must sustain. Blessings are not meant to replace faith. They are meant to reinforce it. Do not make the mistake of worshiping the gift more than the giver. God releases funds to remind you that He owns all things, not so that you forget Him once you possess them. Gratitude must become your foundation. Every time the provision arrives, lift your heart in reverence and say, all this came from God, because the one who remembers the source never runs dry. There is a mystery of overflow that only the faithful understand. When you give out of your abundance, the cycle of divine funding continues. When you share what God gives, you open more space for new deposits. The unseen funds flow best through open hands, not clenched fists. Every act of generosity keeps the spiritual river flowing. If you stop the flow, it stagnates. If you release the flow, it multiplies. God cannot pour into a full vessel. Empty yourself of fear, greed, and selfish ambition, and watch how fast the flow returns. The unseen funds are not one-time miracles. They are divine stream that never stops when you stay in purpose and gratitude. This is the season to prepare your environment for abundance, order your finances, clear your debts, structure your plans, because what God is about to release will require management. He does not release wealth into disorder. The unseen funds are not just about receiving, they are about stewardship. How you handle small things determines your readiness for greater things. Begin to plan as if the abundance is already coming, because it is. Faith makes room before the miracle arrives. When you act in alignment with belief, heaven notices. You must also protect your atmosphere. Not everyone can handle what God is about to give you. Some will misunderstand your breakthrough, others will envy it, and few will attempt to attach themselves to it. Guard your peace, be discerning. The unseen funds are sacred. They were not meant to be shared with every voice that surrounds you. God will show you who deserves access to the abundance. Keep your spirit pure. Keep your motives clean. Because the same God who blesses can also remove what is misused. The unseen funds are holy deposits, and they must be treated with reverence. Prepare to testify, because your story is about to change. There will be days when you will look back and realize that everything God withheld was only to make room for something greater. You will thank Him for not giving you what you once begged for, because what He is about to give will make sense of every delay. The unseen funds are a prophetic sign that your season of endurance is over and your season of evidence has begun. You are stepping into a new dimension of favor where things will align without struggle. You will speak and doors will open. You will ask and supply will answer. You will move and resources will follow. The unseen funds are a reflection of God's character. He is extravagant in generosity, limitless in creativity, and faithful beyond the measure. When He provides with perfection. Every detail is accounted for. Every resource arrives at the right time, in the right form, through the right channel. You will see divine precision in action. And when you do, your heart will be filled with awe, because you will know that only God could have done it. There are divine seasons when God does not just give you what you need, He gives you what you never imagined. He takes you beyond survival into significance, from daily bread into divine abundance. That is the level of provision that is now unfolding. The unseen funds that God is about to release will not only meet your needs, they will exceed them. Because God never gives according to your limitation, He gives according to His greatness. When God blesses, He does not measure by human scales. He gives in proportions that reveal His nature. That is why the coming blessing will be too vast for explanation. It will not fit inside your current plans. It will expand them. It will not simply support your dream. It will redefine it. But before God releases great wealth, He releases great revelation. Because without revelation, resources can ruin. That is why God first shifted your understanding before He shifted your situation. The unseen funds begin as unseen truths. He opens your mind to think higher, to believe deeper, and to see beyond the temporary. You begin to realize that abundance is not about possession, it is about perception. If you believe that God is limitless, then your provision must reflect that limitlessness. You begin to understand that your environment does not determine your outcome, your faith does. It is not where you are, it is what you believe about where you are. That shift is what unlocks the unseen funds. When you live with this revelation, you stop begging for what you already have access to. You stop chasing what God has already assigned. You realize that everything you will ever need is already created, only awaits manifestation through faith. The unseen funds are not coming from nowhere. They are being drawn from the realm of the unseen into the realm of the seen. Faith is the bridge. Words are the builders. Expectation is the gate. And obedience is the key. When all four align, manifestation becomes inevitable. That is why those who believe with action never stay empty for long. Their faith becomes a magnet for divine release. Some people think God releases provision based on need. No, He releases it based on trust. There are many who need, but not all who believe. God's unseen funds flow into hands He can trust. If He can trust you to remain humble when abundance comes, if He can trust you to honor Him with what He gives, if He can trust you to use your blessing to uplift others, then the flow will never cease. But if your heart becomes proud, the flow will close, not as punishment, but as protection. God will never let His blessings destroy His creation. That is why He blesses character before accounts. He develops your heart before your hands. When the two align, you become unstoppable. You may not realize it, but God has been testing you quietly. The seasons of lack were not punishment, they were training. Every time you stayed grateful in shortage, every time you gave when it was difficult, every time you trusted when you had no proof, you passed divine tests. And now those tests are producing promotion. The unseen funds that are about to come are your graduation gift from the school of endurance. You prove that your faith does not depend on circumstances. You prove that your gratitude is not based on what you have, but on who your source is. And now, God is rewarding faith that has been refined in the fire. When God funds you, He funds the future. His provision does not end with you. It multiplies through you. The unseen funds will become seeds for other lives. They will spark change in your family, in your community, and in generations after you. Because God thinks generationally. He blesses you not just for your comfort, but for your legacy. The unseen funds are not just about what you receive, they are about what you will release. When you become a distributor of divine wealth, you enter a new realm of spiritual authority. You stop praying for blessings, blessings begin to chase you. You stop asking for open doors begin to seek you. You stop worrying about provision begins to locate your purpose. Every move of God is strategic. When He begins to pour, He positions. He will not drop unseen funds into chaos. He will order your environment before He releases your increase. That is why you must take inventory now. Clear the clutter in your life, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Some relationship must be closed before resources can flow. Some distractions must end before directions can begin. The unseen funds are holy. They cannot rest in confusion. God's abundance is attracted to order. If you will bring order to your thoughts, your finances, and your priorities, you will attract divine flow effortlessly. And let me tell you this, when the unseen funds arrive, they will come suddenly. God works in suddenlies. One day there is nothing, the next everything has changed. One day you are overlooked, the next you are chosen. One day you are empty, the next you are overflowing. This is how divine timing operates. It looks delayed, but it always lands perfectly. Do not be surprised when your reality shifts overnight. God is capable of compressing years of waiting into one moment of manifestation. The unseen funds will appear suddenly, and you will not have time to doubt. They will come faster than you can explain. And when it happens, give glory to God, not to chance. This will not be luck, it will be divine orchestration. You will trace every miracle and realize that each step, even the painful ones, led to this. Every disappointment was a redirection. Every loss was a lesson. Every delay was a doorway to destiny. You will see that God never wasted your waiting. He was writing a story so divine that only He could complete it. The unseen funds are the proof that the waiting was worth it. But hear this truth deeply: when God releases abundance, He expects responsibility. Blessing without structure leads to waste. God is not giving you unseen funds so that you can consume without purpose. He is giving them so that you can create, build, and uplift. He is entrusting you with influence and impact. Therefore, you must treat this coming season with reverence. The same diligence that sustained you in lack must guide you in abundance. The same humility that kept you grounded in waiting must keep you grounded in overflow. Abundance is not the time to relax in discipline, it is the time to rise in wisdom. Some of you will be shocked by how God uses unexpected people to deliver these unseen funds. A stranger will mention your name in a room you've never entered. A forgotten opportunity will suddenly reappear. A door that once rejected you will now invite you. This is how God operates. He takes what others abandoned and breathes new life into it. He turns rejection into connection, delay into delivery, and scarcity into supply. You will not have to manipulate the outcome. When God is involved, everything aligns effortlessly. The unseen funds are also symbolic of spiritual wealth. God is not only increasing your bank account, He is increasing your discernment, your peace, and your inner stability. What good is financial abundance if your soul remains empty? True wealth begins within. When your heart is rich in faith, your life becomes magnetic to blessing. When your mind is at peace, your decisions attract prosperity. God wants to fund your spirit before He funds your surroundings. That is why the first sign of His favor is peace that surpasses chaos. When your soul becomes anchored in God, your reality begins to reflect that stability. You must understand that divine supply is not earned, it is entrusted. God does not reward perfection, He rewards persistence. He is not looking for flawless people, but for faithful ones. You may not have done everything right, but your heart stayed aligned. That is why He has chosen you for this release. Because your motives are pure, your vision is divine, and your faith has endured the test of time. God knows that when He blesses you, you will not forget where it came from. You will honor Him through every decision, every investment, and every act of generosity. This season will require new thinking. You cannot carry old fears into new abundance. You cannot bring yesterday's doubt into tomorrow's provision. The unseen funds demand a new identity, a version of you that no longer sees limitation but potential. Speak differently, think differently, expect differently. Because God is doing something so unprecedented that your past experience cannot define it. This is not a repeat, it is a rebirth. You are about to witness a divine demonstration that will silence every doubt you ever had. And when you receive, remember, this is not the end, it is the beginning. The unseen funds are not the destination, but the ignition. God is positioning you as a vessel of divine flow. Through you, others will experience His abundance. Through your life, others will see the faithfulness of God in action. You will become living evidence that God funds faith, not fear, purpose, not pride, endurance, not excuse. Prepare your spirit for overflow. Expect God to surprise you. Expect sudden favor, divine ideas, and the supernatural acceleration. Expect divine supply to locate you wherever you are. Do not doubt, do not waver, do not shrink. Stand boldly in faith and say, God, I am ready for the unseen funds you have prepared for me. And as you speak, heaven will respond. The unseen will become seen. The invisible will manifest. And your life will become the stage upon which God displays His limitless generosity and unfailing power. When God releases something unseen, it is not only to change your situation, it is to elevate your perception. The unseen funds are not merely wealth that flows into your hands. They are wisdom that flows into your heart. They are proof that what God gives is always layered with purpose. While the world sees material gain, heaven sees spiritual growth. Every blessing God sends carries a message, and every provision carries a purpose. The unseen funds you are about to receive are not for comfort alone. They are for calling. They are meant to position you for greater impact, to equip you for responsibilities that demand divine resources. You must understand God does not give randomly. Every deposit into your life is strategic. He releases according to assignment. When your heart aligns with His will, the flow begins effortlessly. That is why before God increases your resources, He increases your readiness. He strengthens your character, disciplines your habits, and expands your capacity. Because what is coming must be carried with wisdom, not pride. Many cry for abundance, yet few prepare for it. But when you discipline your spirit, when you remain faithful in small things, you show God that you can be trusted with greater things. The unseen funds are not for those who crave attention, they are for those who carry intention. There will come a moment when what you prayed for suddenly finds you. It will not be logical, and it will not follow natural timing, because God does not operate by human clocks. When He decides to release, nothing can delay it. Doors that were locked will open without keys. Paths that never existed will form under your feet. You will see that provision does not always come through people, it comes through purpose. When you move in alignment with what God has assigned, everything begins to serve that purpose. You will find help in unexpected places, favor from unlikely sources, and opportunities beyond your imagination. This is the power of a divine orchestration. Yet, even in abundance, the true test begins not of your ability to receive, but of your ability to remain. When God blesses, He watches to see if the blessing will still lead you back to Him. Many lose their spiritual hunger once their physical needs are met. But the wise know that the giver is always greater than the gift. The unseen funds are temporary. God's favor is eternal. You must anchor your heart in the source, not in the supply. Because wealth without worship leads to emptiness. Prosperity without purpose leads to pride. If you ever want the flow to continue, keep humility as your foundation and gratitude as your posture. Gratitude is not merely saying, "Thank you, God." It is living like you mean it. It is how you manage what you receive, how you treat others in your elevation, and how you honor God in your decisions. Gratitude turns provision into partnership. It keeps the door open for more. When God sees that you remain thankful and increase as you were in lack, He multiplies without hesitation. He knows that your blessing will not become your barrier. He knows that what He gives you will not replace Him in your heart. That kind of faithfulness draws divine attention. It makes heaven trust you with even greater mysteries and unseen treasures. Understand this, the unseen funds are not just material, they are also mental, emotional, and spiritual. God is releasing clarity to replace confusion, peace to replace pressure, and strength to replace struggle. Sometimes the unseen funds come as wisdom that saves you from mistakes money could never fix. Sometimes they come as insight that positions you for future opportunities. Sometimes they come as favor that makes people see your value without explanation. You must not limit the definition of divine funding. God's currency is not only gold, it is grace, growth, and guidance. And when you are walking in this divine flow, you will notice something powerful. You begin to attract what you used to chase. You no longer force outcomes, they begin to align naturally. You no longer stress about provision, you rest in faith. You begin to see that God's system operates in peace, not panic. The moment you release anxiety and replace it with a trust, you activate the supernatural. Anxiety repels, faith attracts, worry limits, surrender expands. God does not move through fear, He moves through faith. So, if you want to keep the flow of unseen funds active in your life, keep your faith unwavering. Even when the evidence is invisible, there will be people who cannot understand the favor you carry. They will question how things are working for you without visible explanation. But that is the beauty of God's design. He blesses in ways that confuse logic. The unseen funds are meant to make others realize that there is a higher hand guiding your life. They are evidence of divine backing. That is why your increase will not be boastful, it will be testimonial. You will not need to defend your success. Your peace will explain it. You will not need to prove your worth. Your result will reveal it. The same people who doubted you will see that faith is not fantasy, it is the highest form of wisdom. The more you walk with God, the more you realize that provision is not an event, it is a lifestyle. It is a continuous flow that never runs dry because its source is eternal. When one door closes, another opens. When one resource ends, another appears. You will no longer fear loss because you will understand that loss is just a shift in direction, not an end in supply. God never takes without the intention to replace with greater. If something left, it was never meant to stay. If something ended, it was only to make space for something higher. The unseen funds that are coming will not just fill what was emptied, they will overflow beyond it. And when that overflow comes, do not hide it, use it. Use it to lift others, to build something meaningful, to restore hope where it was lost. Because the true purpose of divine abundance is divine impact. God gives not so that you may be elevated above others, but so that you may elevate others toward the light. Every act of generosity becomes a seed that ensures the flow continues. Every time you bless, you expand the channel. The more you release, the more you receive. This is the paradox of divine economics. Giving multiplies, holding decreases. That is why the generous never run dry. Their hands remain open, and open hands are always filled. So prepare yourself for this divine reality. You are not just a receiver, you are a vessel. The unseen funds are not coming to stop with you, they are coming to flow through you. You will carry them wisely, humbly, and purposefully. The world will see your results, but only you will know the secret that everything you have is because of God's unseen hand. That every door that opened, every opportunity that appeared, every resource that found you was guided by a power beyond human comprehension. Therefore, remain alert, remain aligned, and remain anchored. God is not finished. He is only beginning. The unseen funds are only the first sign of a greater wave of divine manifestation. Your name is being mentioned in divine places. Your destiny is being funded by heaven's treasury. And when the appointed moment arrives, what was unseen will suddenly become undeniable. Your life will stand as proof that when a soul trusts completely in God, nothing is impossible and no dream is unreachable.